What if I told you Israel didn't just strike Iran from the air? What if I told you they were already inside the country, setting up precision missile systems, smuggling in concealed launch vehicles, and building secret drone bases in Iran's backyard? This isn't some movie. This is Mossad, live and in country. And on this episode, you're about to find out just how deep it goes. On Friday, Israel did something almost unheard of. They released Mossad operational footage. I've never seen this before. Video showing their own operational deployment teams activating precision-guided strike systems. Why? Because it's not just about hitting targets. This is about signaling in the Middle East. It's about what we call צריך לדבר את השפה של השכונה. You need to speak the language of the neighborhood. And it's about sending a message. We can reach you anytime, anywhere. It's just like that pager operation. And this was part of a larger preemptive assault called Operation Rising Lion, a surgical, multi-pronged defensive designed not just to disrupt, but to decapitate Iran's air defenses and missile capabilities from within. So I want to talk about the mission and how it was done. I've been all over the news for the last 12 hours with Trace and with Hannity, and I've got a bunch more coming up. Let me start with this. So I want to take you inside this operation and talk about how it was likely done. This wasn't some quick smash and grab. Israeli security forces say this one took years to plan. I've been saying it for a long time. A decade, probably 2 decades inside of Iran. And years of deep cover operations, intelligence gathering, and building the kind of trust that lets you smuggle missile systems into enemy territory completely undetected. You've got the first wave. This is the way I see it. You've got Mossad commandos. Mossad has an operational unit that nobody knows about. They're pulled from the finest people in the world, specifically to be able to carry out the operational wing of whatever it is they need done. And they work closely with other units, but these are commandos. And they had already placed guided missile systems in open areas near Iranian surface-air missile sites, or SAM sites, and they were remotely triggered the moment the air campaign began. This can't make this stuff up. Then came the next level. Strike systems hidden inside civilian-looking vehicles, that Mistaravim vibe, same unit that I was in, that had been smuggled into Iran. And once the assault began, they were activated to knock out key defense positions, opening the skies for the Israeli fighter jets, the F-35s and the F-15s. And then you had the third phase, from what I'm hearing from sources of mine in Israel, a drone base built in advance by Mossad mitoch Iran, inside of Iran, near Tehran. From that base, explosive drones were launched to hit surface-to-surface missile systems at the Asfajabad base, which is one of the most critical bases in Tehran and one of the most dangerous threats Israel's ever faced. And so that base, Nigmar Sipor, gone. It's done. Toast. Now I want to talk about the strategy. Let me take a minute and tell you guys about something incredible that I'm building and why I need your help. It's called Gideon. It's the first real-time AI-powered threat detection system for law enforcement and schools. It scans the open web, social media, Discord, Reddit, gaming chats, and flags violent signals before they explode. We're talking about radicalization, grievance buildup, martyrdom language, the exact warning signs we've seen before Uvalde, Buffalo and the D.C. embassy murders. And right now, there's no system catching it. So I'm building it. And I'm asking you, my audience, the people who care, to help me fund it. Every dollar goes directly to engineering, law enforcement deployment, and getting this into schools and across law enforcement agencies across the country. And so if you've ever asked, why didn't they stop this? Or how come they didn't stop this? This is the answer. And if you're one of those serious guys out there watching this and you're a fan of the show, the ones with the capital, access, reach, the network, and you want to partner with me to seed this mission, I want to hear from you. Reach out to me. Click the link below and reach out directly if you're one of the big dogs. I'm building the system that stops the next attack before it starts, and it's called Gideon. Appreciate you guys. This isn't about symbolism. I've heard some people say that out there, trying to be a symbolic attack. That's not what this is. This is Mifza Ptsatsa, or operational dominance. I don't know how else to explain it. Executed with calculated precision. And Israeli officials have been all over the media, and they described it as a breakthrough operation. Breakthrough thinking is the terminology they're using. Extremely bold planning, I agree, and surgical deployment of advanced technologies, special operations forces, and operatives, intelligence agents deep inside of Iran. And all of it done without being detected. And that kind of coordination between Mossad and the IDF's military intelligence unit 8200, their cyber unit, there's probably a ton of jamming going on, and then Amman, which is Israel's main military intelligence branch. It's rare for them to work together on a military operation. This would take me back to the 70s, Operation Grapes of Wrath era, when then Prime Minister Ehud Barak was approached by Mossad to take out a terrorist leader deep inside of Beirut. They went to Seret Matkal, who Barak was the commander of the time, and asked him if he could put together a mission. They wanted to do the operation a certain type of way, and they wanted it to have a military special operations feel. So it's pretty rare for all of them to come together for this type of mission. But I want to say this. When it works, it produces something most enemies will never, ever see coming. Simultaneous, what I call multi-domain strikes that look and feel like one blow, but they're really multiple blows stitched into one operation. And so we were talking about this last night on Trace on Fox News at night, and how warfare is changing, and how the war on terror for the last 20 years has been, terrorists in caves in Iraq and Syria. Times have changed. We're now inching closer and moving into what I've been speaking to, I think more than anybody, which is fifth generation warfare and what that really looks like. And so cyber, kinetic, psychological, packed into one punch, and you've still got the special ops elements of it, and obviously you've still got the airstrikes, but there's just a lot more digital pieces moving around the map, and a lot more algorithm being targeted by our enemies and being used by us to really push messaging out there to be able to control what people are seeing. So that hijacked algorithm is working both ways. Just a different time we're in right now. And by that fifth gen warfare, what I mean is these lone wolf attackers that we're seeing pop up here in the United States, we could see Iranian assassins start popping up in the United States. But these lone wolf attackers that we're seeing here weren't recruited by Hamas in some back alley. They were recruited by an algorithm. And so we're in a very kinetic digital war. And all these military pieces are connected. I want to move on. So why now? And why so public? Why release the footage? Because it's not just about what Israel did, in my opinion. It's about what they're telling Iran they can do again. You got to remember, when they hit Hassan Nasrallah, even though they were funded by Iran, that was a Lebanese terrorist proxy group funded by Iran. But this was directly targeted at Iran. And I want to be clear also, Israel just eliminated Iran's top chief of staff generals in the same operation. So they're not just fighting missiles, they're fighting morale with the Iranians. And they're fighting the myth of Iranian invulnerability. Iran is always beating its chest. And that's why Saudi Arabia is afraid to make a deal with Israel. And that's why the Gulf states have also been afraid to come to the Abraham Accords table. And so to Iran's regime, this was a message. Your secrets aren't safe. Your air defenses aren't safe, and your territory is no longer off limits. This was a very significant increase from the last little knock and tap operation Israel did last year. So not a bluff. Clear capability here and reach with Israel, and Iran knows it, and now the entire world knows it. Major General Shlomi Binder, head of Israel's military intelligence, addressed his team right after the strike, from what I picked up, and he called it an existential campaign. He said his team worked relentlessly to deliver intelligence on Iran's nuclear ambitions. He said Israel is at a war with an enemy determined to destroy them, and that war is not theoretical. And I agree. There's nothing theoretical here. There's nothing to debate for all those armchair commandos out there who are going to be talking about Israel's morality. Iran isn't just enriching uranium. Let me make this clear. It's stacking missiles. It's doing it faster than most people realize. They were closing in on 85% enrichment. Israel had actionable intelligence that it moved on. And Israel's mission now is simple. Continue to degrade the threat. Disrupt Iran's progress. Eliminate their ability to be able to act. And Operation Rising Lion is just the beginning. I think these operations are going to be carried on for the next 3, 4, 5 days. I think what we just saw was phase 1. I think phase 2 is now going to be targeting secondary infrastructure. And then I think phase 3, well, we'll see how that shapes up and what that turns into. But I think this one's going to keep going for the next week or two to completely decapitate Iran's tactical capabilities to be able to attack Israel or the West or anybody for that matter. So I want to close it out with this. There's a myth that war is only what happens when the missiles fly. But the real war, the quiet war, as I've been saying for the last 6 months, 7 months, 8 months since I started my show, has already been happening. And it happens when the drones are launched from trucks outside of Tehran, when guided missiles are buried in Iranian soil by foreign hands, when a spy agency so deep inside enemy territory can film itself doing it and walk out clean. And that's not just a flex. That's a new era of warfare. And if Israel's willing to show the world what Mossad can do, imagine what they're still keeping secret. Here's my question to you guys. If this is what Israel's capable of today, how far do you think they'll go tomorrow? Drop your take down in the comments. I read them. I want to thank you guys for watching this one. I've got more episodes lined up to cover this breaking news, this operation, the micro, the macro. There's a lot of pieces to this attack. I've got another one that's going to be dropping same day today or tomorrow morning. But keep an eye out on the show. Share the episode. And remember, I'm building Gideon, the first AI-driven platform for law enforcement to be able to detect and stop lone wolf attackers before it's too late. Hit the link down in the description. Donate and help support Gideon. buys me more runway while we're onboarding our engineers and about to open up our seed rounds. Want to thank you guys for watching. I'm Aaron Cohen. You just saw Israel light them up. Get ready. There's going to be more. You're watching the Aaron Cohen Show, and I will catch you guys on the next one.